And in addition, to be honest with each other, you have to be able to trust each other that your partner will take it in the best way possible. So I know we mentioned this before, but we really want to stress on this.
It's Yuntaku time with Akko and Tamo.
What does Yuntaku mean? It's an Okinawan word from the islands of Okinawa, which means chit-chat. We want to invite you to our kitchen table and include you in our chit-chat to explore new ways of thinking, to welcome different perspectives,
And we want to share ideas on how to love yourself, love your partner, and shower your children with love.
This is episode 16.
And the topic of the day is, how honest are you with your partner? But before we get to that, let's talk about our recent happenings. So recently, Tamo got a swing for our daughter. It's a godsend. And she has been loving it so much just because we haven't been able to go to the playgrounds. Everything's blocked off. And so, we finally just got a swing and she's been loving it day in, day out.
Yeah, and she's been asking us multiple times a day to take her and put her on the swing. So yeah, it's been interesting, right? So we've been pretty much spending a lot of time in the garage just swinging her, and I'm happy about that. I'm really glad that she likes it, because we were still kind of deciding, should we get one? Will she really like it? It's been lasting.
Yeah, it's the best thing that we got for her. That's been keeping her busy.
Yeah, it has. And it's really cute. When she's on the swing, she goes, wee, wee, wee. And I'm sure she's going to want to go on it tomorrow too. So I'll be sitting in the garage with her pretty much the whole day tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And she stays in for a long time, and it really keeps her calm. I don't know if it's like the momentum and just the repetitiveness of the swing, but it really keeps her calm. And
yeah, it definitely puts her into a more relaxed state. Yeah, she comes out of the swing in a better mood, and I think she feels a lot better after it. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So moving on to the topic of the day, how honest are you with your partner? We ask you guys this question because it's so important to us.
And for any serious relationship.
And a lot of times when you ask people that, the answer might not be yes. And so that's why we're here to talk about the benefits of being honest with your partner.
And another thing that I want to interject with is that being honest with your partner should be one of the foundations of your relationship. And from that, trust can be built. The relationship can be built to the sky, right? So if you have a foundation that is on very loose soil, you're not going to be able to build your relationship sky high and take the both of you to heights that you've never even imagined, right? And one thing that I want to also, on top of that, add is one way you can tell that you might not be fully honest with your partner is when you talk to your friends. You might say things to them about your partner that you wouldn't say to your partner. That is a big red flag.
Yes.
So if you're not comfortable with saying the same exact thing to your partner that you would to maybe a friend, a close friend, then okay, that's something that you would want to look into. And why is that?
Exactly. Great points. Again, so let's go deeper about what we mean about honesty. So maybe you can explain to us, Tamo, what honesty means in this situation.
Sure, yeah, thinking about that. So what I mean by honesty in this situation is I want to make sure that we're not using truth and honesty interchangeably, right? Truth is a completely different matter and actually a very difficult topic. So we're not going to go to truth, but we're going to go to honesty because that is the topic of the day. And honesty is something that is actually not that easy to do, because to be honest, you need to know yourself very well. Honesty is being able to tell your partner exactly what is happening with you inside, for them to not have to read your mind and assume things. Using all your communication skills to share what is going on with you, right? So we're not talking about very simple things where, okay, look at that piece of paper. Is that piece of paper black or white? No, we're talking about things that are happening inside. So for example, when I'm honest with Akko, I will tell her, okay, I'm in this type of mood right now, so I'm feeling this way. And if it was something that triggered me, or I think you should have done it this way, if I tell you, I can preface it with what's going inside so that when the information is communicated to Akko, she has a better, well-rounded understanding of where I'm coming from. And with this honesty, it also ties into being able to trust each other, that we will take whatever we're saying in the best way possible, right? And there are many times that my honesty can hurt. And vice versa, right? And so that's also another skill that you have to develop in the relationship.
Yes.
So maybe, Akko, you can talk a little bit about how you can kind of navigate sometimes, when something that I say is too sharp.
Yeah. So at times what Tomo says can be heavy. And so what you can do is maybe not in that moment, but when things are better, you can bring it up to him. You can bring up the fact like, hey, you know what? How you said it was heavy. Maybe if you don't mind, can you say it this way next time? And that's the communication that's very important. And that's the honesty that you need so that you can develop your relationship. He doesn't know how you're feeling if you don't say anything. He might not be able to pinpoint where it's coming from. So it is your job as a partner to really let him know what you're feeling. You don't need to play games or anything. That's not the point.
No.
You need to let them know exactly what you're feeling and how you want it to be relayed to them, how you want to be spoken to. And I know deep down that he didn't mean it in that way. And so you just have to let him know so that he can improve on it. That's what we kind of mean by honesty, and how you have to communicate that honesty with your partner so that you guys can improve and you guys can communicate in the best way possible for the both of you guys.
Yeah, and I also want to add that when things like that do happen, and how I would respond to that is to not get defensive, but listen with an open heart and putting myself into her shoes, putting myself into how she's feeling, why she's feeling it. And then if I still have questions, asking her so that I can understand as fully as I can, so that I can respond to Akko in a much more productive way, a much more caring way, and a much more loving way. I'm here to grow with you together. And then if there are any misunderstandings, we can talk about it and clear everything up.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so what seems to be a negative thing at that moment, you can turn that into gold. Things are not black and white. It's gray. So we're flexible in that understanding, and yet also holding in our mind that we are seeing the things as the best way possible,
Yes,
right?
yes.
In the best way, so that we can increase our trust for each other. So we're not making stuff up in our heads. We're not fantasizing. It's a very equanimous, calm communication with each other so that we can get to the bottom of it and pull out that weed as soon as we can.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and like Tama mentioned, we just have to stay equanimous. That's a beautiful word that he mentioned. Equanimous, just not react to it, just listen to it.
Yeah, you want to stay calm. Imagine a completely still lake, mirror finish. Everything can be seen in that lake because it's so still. It's like a mirror. Imagine that inside you, whether it be your heart or your mind. If you can keep that as still as possible, that's where really the big changes happen.
Yes.
And for us, equanimous is not a common word. We've learned it through Vipassana meditation. We went to a 11-day Vipassana meditation where we sat in silence and meditation for 11 straight days.
Yeah, for 10 hours a day. So
Woke up at 4:30 in the morning?
yes, 4:30 in the morning, went straight into meditation and literally just break meditation. I mean, your life was meditation for the whole 11 days.
But we'll definitely talk about this in future episodes too. But that experience was a really big shift in our lives,
Yes.
and it went into benefiting our whole life, including her childbirth too, which is
And I can talk about that in another future episode as well, and how it helped me during labor. I mean,
it wasn't an easy one. So
No, it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. So I would love to share that with you guys in the future podcasts. So going back to our topic, the benefits. So some of the benefits of being honest is that you prevent yourself from feeling the shame or guilt that comes with not being honest.
Right. And shame and guilt are very heavy emotions. Those are kind of anchors to who you are. So the more shame and guilt you have, you're putting on very heavy anchors to your heart, to your mind, and because of that, to your body, because your body will start feeling more sluggish and things like that.
Yeah, and feeling those feelings can turn into trauma. And as we had mentioned before, trauma, Tama, you want to jump in?
Sure, yeah. Trauma, how we define trauma is something that has happened to you that shouldn't have happened, or something that you think should have happened to you but didn't happen. So there's two types of trauma. We got that definition from Gabor Mate. He's a great person to listen to on trauma. So when you have a chance, please check him out. It's Gabor, Gabor, Mate, Mate. I believe he's a I might not be practicing anymore, but he's a psychologist. Yeah, and fantastic. His work is really great.
Amazing.
And we've learned a lot from him. It integrated a lot of his teachings into our relationship and into our life and into how we raise our child and into many other aspects of our lives. So yeah, that's totally...
Yeah, check him out, guys.
And also being honest frees up a lot of your energy, which you can use to love your partner more, right? So the more honest you are, things are free flowing, right? So there's no blocks that keep your energy from flowing forward. Now, if you are not being honest, so let's say for a husband, your wife asks you, how do I look in this? And common culture says you always, as a husband or a boyfriend, you always say, oh, honey, you look great in it. That's kind of the common zeitgeist of...
Yeah, or your wife is always correct.
Right.
And it's like, no, not really.
Right. But Akko trusts me that I'll be honest with her, right? And again, I'm not saying truth. Truth is completely different. I'm honest in terms of my opinion of the question she poses to me.
Yes.
So by being honest, you can be free because you're freeing your energy up.
Yeah. And your partner can build more trust in you because you're being honest. And like Tomo had mentioned before, trust is a big foundation in a relationship.
Right, exactly. And of course, you want to make sure that we're understanding this in a more flexible way. So I'm not saying you are so honest that you're nitpicking about everything. That's not honesty. That's just being nitpicky.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So that's the balance that you have to work on with your partner, right? And if it's something that really is bugging you, yes, you should be honest about that. But you're not going to say, hey, there's a piece of dust here. Why don't you clean this? I feel bad about it. I mean, there are limits to honesty. And so being nitpicky, that will turn the positive trust into something negative. So you want to make sure that you're striking this balance and not taking things so black and white that, oh, they're saying you have to be honest, so I'm going to be honest. No, that's not honesty. That's something different. So make sure that you are thinking in a very flexible way, and the things that you are trying to communicate is worthy of being communicated. Maybe that's another way that I can say it.
Yeah. If it's something that's not going to really improve the relationship, then there's no need to. But if you let partner know, that's going to improve your relationship. So Tama made a great point. Like, don't be nitpicky about this because, yeah, it can turn that positive into a negative. And in addition, to be honest with each other, you have to be able to trust each other that your partner will take it in the best way possible. So I know we mentioned this before, but we really want to stress on this. Your partner is honest with you because they care about you. They love you. And so you have to trust that they're coming from a place where they want to see you grow to the best version of yourself. And that's why they're being honest with you. And that's probably another point. You marry the person that's going to make you become that best version of yourself. And that's really why you marry your partner. Not because of he's good looking, not one of those superficial things. It's something deeper. You marry the person because this person is going to get you to that height of being that better version of yourself. And they're going to get you there. But in order for them to get you there, they have to be honest with you. And you have to be able to trust them that they're coming from the best place possible so that you can get there.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. And even for us too, as we mature in the relationship, as we grow as individuals in the relationship and together in the relationship, we trust each other to take what we say in the best way possible. And sometimes if we feel that we are not able to see the positive, that's not been the case in the last many years, but then that should open up another conversation.
Yeah, it's an opportunity and it's an invitation to talk about that.
Right, exactly. And so if there are any feelings of negativity or if you're just feeling very bad about what had happened, then bring that up and have that as a conversation.
Yeah.
Because because conversations and communication is a tool you can use to understand each other even more.
Yeah, 100%. And don't be afraid to bring up these things to your partner. And if you are afraid, you should question why is that and bring that up to your partner. And don't be afraid.
Yeah, and that might be a great opening too. Just if you feel that you really cannot be honest, maybe bringing that up. I want to be a lot more honest with you and kind of work that together. And maybe they can open up a little bit more just by little opening that up and seeing where you guys go.
Yeah. 100%.
And if this is a sensitive topic to you guys, maybe just take it little by little. Just talk about it. Okay, let's just talk about it for 5 minutes. That's it. And then come back to it some other day and just open that little by little so that you can slowly integrate yourself into being more honest or even talking about being honest with each other, because that itself might trigger something. And again, I think we've mentioned in the past, if something triggers you, there's something there for you to work on.
Yeah. And that means you should question, why is this?
Why am I being triggered?
Yeah. So that's a question that we ask ourselves a lot too.
All the time.
So it is very normal. I ask myself multiple times, sometimes a day. And so it's your job to be able to ask yourself that question. And a lot of times you might not be able to answer that, and it's okay. You just need to plant that seed in yourself that, oh, this was a trigger point. I wonder why. And then sometimes maybe like a few months later, it just pops into your head and you have your answer.
Right. So that's part of putting awareness to what's bugging you, right? So triggers are something that bothers you, or you may get angered. It's a reaction instead of a response. So I just want to talk about that just a little bit. A reaction is something that is unconscious. So if someone says a certain thing and you automatically get angry, that's a reaction. Right? You don't want to react, you want to respond in a calm and collected way. And for that to happen, triggers have to be looked at, understood, and then finally let go.
100%. So, what one thing can you do to increase trust with your partner today?
We'd love to hear from you. Please comment on our YouTube channel by searching Yuntaku Time. All right, till next time, take care.
Bye.